Everybody, welcome to today's Hornbill Academy session where we will be exploring Hornbill dashboards. Your presenter is Ehsan. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please type them into the GoToWebinar questions pane and we'll address them at the end. But once again, thanks for joining, and I'll hand you over to Ehsan.
Hello everybody, my name is Ehsan. In the room we have myself, Ehsan, David Hodgen and Jason. We work as part of the application development team within Hornbill, working on Supportworks and the applications including ITSM. Today we'll be going through a new feature in Supportworks server. It's called the Dashboard and Trending Engine. I will start off with I will just go through an example and then we'll have a Q&A at the end of this session. So, a date with Hornbill. As I mentioned again, myself, Jason and David Hodgen in the room. Okay, so Dashboard and Trending Engine. It's a new feature that is provided with the Supportworks server. As you log into the Supportworks client, you get a new option, Dashboard and Trending. It consists of groups, dashboard, widgets, and measures. I wouldn't really. I would clarify that a little bit more when we start presenting. So here I have Supportworks client where I've logged in. As usual, you get Supportworks today. On the left-hand side, at the bottom, you have a new view called Dashboard and Trending. Of course, we have dashboard that was there from before. We've now enhanced that and it's a lot more advanced and configurable. Dashboard and Trending Engine. On the left-hand side, this section is divided into two sections. The first section displays groups, dashboards, and the second section is how you configure and you set up the Dashboard and Trending Engine. Just going through here, here's an example of a dashboard that consists of two widgets. At the top, we have General and Service Desk. They are called the groups here. Under General, we have Service Desk Measure, which is the dashboard within this group. And within the Service Desk group, we have three dashboards, so Change Management, Incident Management, and Problem Management. And each one of those have, so this one in particular has three widgets. Apart from viewing it, you have the scroll bar over each bar. You have two options at the top. One is to download this data and download this in a CSV, and the other is to drill down the data that's displayed within this. I'll just show you this example here. So we've got a drill down of what exactly is retrieved from this dashboard and trending. I will start off with set up groups and dashboards on the left-hand side. It's the very first thing we need to do. So again, at the top, I can manage my existing groups and dashboards. If I click on this left-hand side button, I'll get the group details. So for General, I can rename that to something else, General Service Desk Measures. We can delete this group, and we can also create a new group using the button at the top. Same sort of principle with the dashboard on the right-hand side. So we've got a drop-down list. If I select Service Desk Groups, and within dashboard I can select each individual one and edit, delete, and create a new dashboard as appropriate. Other things that you can of course do here is move these around based on requirements. So if you have 8, if you just want to display them in a bar, you can sort of move them around. And what you can also do on this right hand side is add widgets to this dashboard, this particular dashboard. There's a button on the right hand side with a text, add a widget to dashboard. Right now it displays the widgets that are already present within this dashboard. I can check more options if I want. What this list consists of is all the existing widgets within the system. You have scorecards, you have custom widgets. If I've just checked another, if I just check another one at the bottom here and save it, my page will refresh and display the new widget, and I can move it around as appropriate. So I'm going to start off by creating a new group. So if I click on the button on the top right-hand side. The name of it for today's example is services maintenance. These two drop-down lists here allows you to restrict this view, so you can select whether you want only system administrators to have access to this, and within this bottom import you can restrict the number of analysts that can log in. For this particular example, I wouldn't really worry about this one, but just so that you know you're allowed to restrict the view of this. Click on save. I get a group with no dashboard and a blank screen. Just so that I'm just going to give a quick overview of what exactly I'm going to create. So I have a particular service called New Starter Service, and what I would like to do with that is to create a widget that would pull out the number of service requests that are raised against this particular service over the last year. So I want it displayed within the monthly range. So, for example, I want to know how many was raised in last year, December 2013, and so on. So I'll start. So I've called my group Services Maintenance. If I refresh the left-hand side, I can see my group pop up. I will now go on to create a single dashboard. I could create more than one, but I just want the one dashboard for today. And for this example, my dashboard will be called Service Requests. I could have more than one widget relating to service requests. This second-hand input field, where column layout, it's literally how you want to lay out your widgets. So whether you want to have it in threes, or you could do 50-50, which means it will be split into two halves. I will leave it to default. Again, as we have in here, we have a drop-down list for access control, and we have a input field to restrict the number of users that can access this. Very same principle to the way we did the groups. Again, I will leave those as default values. I hit save. Again, I get another blank screen. So now, at this point, if I hit refresh, what you can see on the left-hand side is a new group and a new dashboard for service requests. Of course, we have no widgets on this. If I want to, I can go ahead and add an existing one that I have, and it will appear, it will pop up. But the example I want to go through is I actually want to display to you guys how we can create this widget from scratch for the particular design that we have. So we've gone through setup, group, and dashboards on this left-hand pane. We'll then move on to designing a widget. If I click on this button now, what you can see on this drop-down list on this page is the widgets that exist within the system. You have 4 columns: title, category, description, and owner. So you have 3 tabs within this page. So the next one is scorecards, which is another type of widget, and you have a customized widget, which is a bit more technical, a bit requires PHP scripting. If we then go back to charts, which is where we're going to focus in, we have 3 buttons next to each widget. The first one displays the properties of this widget. We'll come to this a little bit more afterwards. We have the option to delete it, and we have the option to drill down the data. So again, this is the data that this particular dashboard has pulled out the data. And then the button that we have at the top is creating a new widget. So I'm going to click on that, and I want to create a widget for my dashboard. So this particular widget is called, I'm just going to give you a name, so service requests raised against new starter service in the last year. Category, that doesn't filter down the results on the left-hand side. In case if anyone's wondering, this is literally for you to categorize your widgets in the way that you want. My one is related to service management, so I'll just give it the category service management. The description of this, again, this is whether you want to clarify a little bit more. I'll leave that one blank. The last input field we have at the bottom is for use in data dictionary. Right now it's set to all. This is literally if you want to ensure that this widget is only displayed within particular data dictionaries. Right now what that means is it will display in everyday dictionary within your server. So again, that one I will leave it the way it is. We have 4 tabs at the top. So we've covered the first one, properties, the data provider, Fusion XML, and preview. Data provider is a tab we'll focus on today. So there are 3 ways to configure your widget for retrieving data. The first one is SQL group by data provider. This is where you configure your SQL query. The second part is measured data provider. We'll come on to that. And the third part is custom data provider. This is where you have a customized PHP script that pulls data. The reason why we have that section is you can create more for pulling out more complex data. So we write PHP scripts. What we were looking at today is measured data provider. The way it works here within this tab is it will only use one of these 3 options, so either that one, or that one. So if I select a measure, it will supersede the other 2. That's what we'll be doing today. We'll be creating a measure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the widget the way it is now. I will save it, and we'll go off to create a measure. We'll come back and select our measure. So just a quick recap of what we've gone through so far. We have created a group called Services Maintenance. We have created a dashboard called Service Requests. And on the right-hand side, within widgets, we have created a widget called Service Requests raised against new starter in the last year. So to this point, we have not provided a mechanism of retrieving data. And that's what we're going to move on to next. As I mentioned again, where you have 3 options, you can configure your SQL query within this tab here. So if you have a simple query such as get calls from get all the calls within the system and display them within a monthly range, you could configure that here. But we kind of want to do a bit more advanced. We want to advance the way we retrieve data, and that's why we're going to use measures. So if I click on Manage Measures, the very last option within Administration Activities, I can see a list of my measures. What you have here is number of columns, so name and frequency. So the name is the name of the measure that you created. The frequency is how often it takes data. Again, we'll come to that a little bit later. You then have a scoreboard. That's another mechanism if you want to create a score of your data. For example, you set it to a particular number, and you want to make sure that you want to check whether it has reached or there's been a decline in that number of requests that you pull. We can see a trend, target, latest and diff difference, and which is again related to scoreboard. Again, we will not cover that as much. We have the regular buttons as we had in the previous window. So we can manage a measure. So you click on the left-hand side button and you can configure your measure, and that's what we'll come to a little bit later. The very next button is deleting current measure. And the last option, which is a little bit different to where we design widgets, is you can create a copy of this particular measure. So if you have this particular measure, for example, for the example that I'll be using today, where I am focusing on a particular service portfolio, if I want to get a dashboard for another service portfolio, I can simply copy my existing one and then create a new one for my new service. I will come to this button at the end when we've created a measure, and I'll explain why. I'll be delaying that a little bit. So at the top, we will click on create a new measure. I'm going to give it the very same name as my widget, just so that I don't get confused. So if I go back in here and copy the title, and I can simply pull it across and make sure my measure has the very same name. So after measure name, we have take a sample every time period. This is where I mentioned here where the frequency comes in place. So as I explained earlier regarding my example, I want to get a record of service requests against new starters in the last year, and I want it in a monthly basis. So I want a chart that displays that has a number of bars, and each one of them represents a month. As I'll be doing that, I will change that to month, so it will get sample data for every month. And again, I want it every month. So if for example, that was you wanted it every 2 weeks, you will simply enter 2, and then you select weeks within the period. So again, going back to my example, I would like to get it for every month. Maximum number of samples to keep. This value can be superseded in the widget, but for this example, I want 12. So I want 12 months worth of data. Scoreboard, I'm not really going to go through that today. I will leave it as default. But as mentioned again, you can set that up and measure and have a scoreboard of your measures. We have 2 other tabs here: sample data. So that's after you've configured your measure. You can view all the data that it has retrieved. Data collection tab is the bit that we're going to focus now. We're going to focus on now for a little bit. So we're going through these sections. So again, this is divided into 2 sections: advanced and sampling, simple sampling. Advanced is where again you can select a PHP script. So your PHP script could be getting certain amount of data, could be doing more complex queries, such as if you, for example, want to do joins between a couple of tables, or if you want to retrieve data, you want to pull out data from a table, and you want to configure that for the way you want your widget to be displayed. Again, this is where you select that. However, for this example today, I'll be using the simple sampling section. So going through each one of these fields, sample table is, before I get into this, I just wanted to quickly mention that obviously this part of our presentation requires understanding of SQL. If you have used a Hornbill management information and reporting, which is on the left-hand side, so if you've used reports, you will understand what exactly I'm doing. This is probably a little bit more advanced and a little bit more clearer, as in you've given this sort of field, you've given this names and fields, which makes it a bit more clearer when you want to pull out data. So sample table is the table that I'll be getting data from today is open call. The primary key is core for open call. If I get the schema report, the ITSM schema report, if you click on set number of tables, so open call, for example, I do get to find it somewhere at the bottom. You do get schema information and primary keys and other sort of details as you wish. To get the schema report, you click on help and Supportworks ITSM schema report. Just thought I'll touch on that quickly. So going back to this, the primary key of our table is core ref. The sample column is core ref, so that's where the core reference for each service request is stored. I would like to do a count. As I explained in my example, I want to count the number of calls that are raised every month. You can do you have other options here, such as average, sum, percentage. Again, I'll be using count. Sample epoch start column, so that's where the date for where the call is raised is stored in open call. Log date X. What you will get right now with this is log date X will correspond to what you've selected here. So if you want it every month, it will automatically check from start of the month to the end of the month by just automatically. But if you want it for a specific date, for example, I want it between 15th of September to 15th of October, you can enter another column here, or where your date is stored, and then within your filter data, you can filter down that result. So again, for my example, I'll leave it the way it is. I want it to be dynamic. I want it to get the last 12 months. So if I run this report in 3 months' time, I do want it to get the last 12 months rather than from 12 months when I created my measure. Filtering my data. So as I explained with my example, I want to get a number of service requests against a particular service. My particular service has the ID of 494. That's the new starter wizard. So that's again for where you want to filter down your data. Very similar to the reporting engine. Going to the very last option, which is save data columns. This is used for when you download a CSV for this particular widget, and you want to get you want to pull out certain data from the table. You can select the number of columns that you want here. I'm just going to leave these as default because I'm not really too concerned about downloading the CSV data here. But yeah, just so that you guys know, you can change this. You can add or delete as you wish, and maximum of 10. I can also leave it blank if I need to. So at this point, I have configured my query, and my properties is already configured. So I can simply click on Save, and my measure will be created automatically. Since I've created my measure, I will now go back to my widget and select this measure against it. So as I mentioned, just a quick recap. So we've created a group for services maintenance, a dashboard called service requests, and a widget called service request raised against new start service in the last year. And where we are retrieving data, we chose the second option, which is measure. We have gone through creating a measure. I'm now going to select the measure against this widget. If I click on a drop-down list, I will get the very last the measure that I just created, service request. Click on that, and number of samples to use. Again, what you enter here will supersede what you entered in the measure earlier, where I entered 12, but I want 12 anyway for this example, so I want 12 months worth of data. If I simply click, so if I click on Save now, what you will see is that what you will get is that the data will be retrieved from this section here, not there, or the one on the bottom. So if I click on Save, my widget is updated. The next two tabs are literally for previewing your widgets. So if you want to see how it looks without it on the dashboard, you have a number of charts to select. So you have column 2D, you have a pie, you can have a bar. Click on that, it will create an XML definition automatically. For this example, I want column 2D. If I just override the existing one, this is generated on this is generated automatically. You can. This is, if you have a bit more technical, if you want to technically edit, the borders and the way it looks, you can modify this XML here. Otherwise, it will give you the very default XML. If I click on Preview, I can see that there is no data to display, and I will explain why that is. If I've saved that now, it's all ready. If I go back to my measure now here, and where I said where the last sample was taken. So we haven't actually taken a sample of this yet. We've configured a new measure. We haven't taken a measure. The way this is done is there is two ways where this is scheduled. One is there is a scheduler added to Supportworks server, so it will automatically, right now it's defaulted to every hour, but you can obviously modify that to every month, every so and so. The scheduler will go through every single one of these measures, and it will pull out data if it needs to pull data, so it will update it automatically. Otherwise, for scenarios such as today where I've created a measure and I want to get my data before my scheduler runs, I can click on the button on the right hand side, which will collect data. If I click on OK, and if you wait several seconds, it will go up and pull data, and it will eventually display it. So this is just to say that it's pulled out the data, and as you can see, it has pulled out. I can see in here that it's pulled out data. Just to confirm that, we'll go back to the widget where we did a preview. I will click on this to expand my widget, and if I go into the preview tab, it will load up all the data. So this is how my chart is going to look. Very nice and tidy. So I've got 6 in September. I didn't have anything in December or January. We didn't have any new stars in December, January. And yeah, so we're kind of done creating everything. But going back to dashboards, we still haven't associated this widget that we've created to this dashboard. So if I click on the group that I created, services maintenance, and I have on my dashboard service request, there's only one. I can click on the button on the right hand side and add the new widget that I just created. So if I simply just check that, click on save, I can see my chart kind of right at the top. I can move that if I want. I probably want this one first. Looks better to me. So we have a dashboard ready. So I'm still in the menu where I have created and administrated this new widget. If I click on the service request link on the left-hand side, I can see it coming up the exact same way. There's two ways that you can access your dashboard. One is through the client, which I have now, just clicking on different menus, and I'll be clicking back on the one that I created. And one is through the browser. If I simply go into the URL and type in the system that I am using, I'll have to log in. So in the very same login that I used for Supportworks client. And as you can see here, I'll have a similar view to the one in the client, have in the browser. What we are using this for is, for example, if you want to display your dashboard on a plasma TV, so it just looks a bit more neat if you log in through a web browser. Otherwise, you can use it through the client. I think I've covered most things here. Just one last thing. Again, I showed you right at the start. If I want to drill down my data, I'll simply click on this link. It will show you all the data, and the left-hand link is to download the CSV. So you can download this CSV, and for any input purposes or anything that you guys would like to use. I think we're good here. We've covered most areas. So we'll go through a number of questions here. Let's have a look and see if you guys had any questions for us. Okay, so a question that we have here is, how do I get this dashboard functionality? Do I need to upgrade to a certain version of the application or platform? This new functionality comes with the new Supportworks server platform. It's 761 or 761 and above. In terms of the application, you will also need to get Supportworks ITSM. You will also need to get ITSM 360. And yes, if you have the combination of those, you'll be able to access this new dashboard and trending. Let's have a look if there is anything else. Explain measure drill down and measure data provider. So, okay, I think this was within the widget where we discussed right at the bottom the data provider tab. So. The measure drill down, which is, sorry, that was within the measure. Notice now. So the measure drill down is the selected script will be used to display the raw data from which the measure was determined. So again, as I mentioned, you can have your own script to pull out a certain type of data for this complex query or so. The measure data provider tab. Drop down, the selected script will capture the data which will be used in the measure. Moving on, let's have a look to see if there are any other questions. We have one here. What are the saved data column? I think that's the one that I covered while I was creating the measure again within the data collection tab. So again, when these columns that are used here, there will be when you download this CSV file that contains this measure, contains the data, it will you'll also get the corresponding data for each one of those columns that's specified within this link. So that's literally only for when you want to download this CSV. Let's have a look to see if there are any other questions. Sorry, let me just, how do you set the refresh in the browser? So that's where we logged in through the browser where we had the dashboard. There is a refresh. You can set how often you want it to refresh this page. So right now it's set to 60, so it will update it every hour. Otherwise, obviously, if you want to change it, you can modify it to however minutes you want it to refresh. Moving on to the next one, can the report be set to run on a schedule and same as the report and save? Oh, sorry, yeah, and save the report. No, you will have to download the CSV data through the link that we provided. So if I go back to at the top, we have the link to download the CSV file, and you can save it where you want. Just looking through to see if any other questions. Okay, we are going to pick another 2 questions. Let's have a look at that one. So, is there any way to turn a pre-created report into a widget on the dashboard? By report, if you mean through the information and reporting engine through the Supportworks line, no, they don't. They're not actually the same type of they're actually 2 different functionalities. So you can't use a report that you create within management information reporting and put it into dashboard and print. You'll have to create a new widget from scratch. Let's have a look. If they probably have space for one more question. We have the HR version of ITSM. As such, we don't have service requests, problems, etc. Does this functionality work with HRSD? Yes, it does. It will work with any application. It's not specific to problems, changes, incidents, or service requests. It could be any type of call. So again, as the way the application and Supportworks is structured, all the call data are recorded in open call table. And when you are designing your measure, so if I just quickly go back to my measure that I created here, within this filter list, you can specify the specific call type that you're using. So in HR, it's a HR case, so you could literally, if you have it filtered down like that, it will only show you HR related calls. So yeah, it will work with any application. It's not specific to ITSM. We'll probably do one more then, yeah. Can we have a PowerPoint for this presentation explaining all the tabs and stuff? Yes, we actually have documentation for this. If you go into docs, is it community portal? Yeah, if you go into the CCP, all the documentation, including one for this that specifically clarifies everything that we've gone through today. It's sort of like a user guide, admin guide. You can get all sorts of information from there. Again, if you contact us individually at Hornbill, we can give you that link straight away. Yeah. All right. Yeah, guys, we've had multiple questions. We're kind of running out of time here in this session now. For those of you who couldn't get an answer for the questions that you asked, we will respond to you individually from Hornbill. So you'll hear from us for those questions. Yeah, guys, are we good here? All right. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us around today. I hope we covered. I hope you guys enjoyed the session that we covered today, and speak to you guys for another webinar maybe. All right. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye.